Whether you're currently pre-approved or about to start house shopping, there's a good chance you're calculating how much home you can actually afford incorrectly. However, there is a calculation that will show you exactly how much home you can afford based on your complete financial picture and not just what the bank says. And nobody's teaching this, which is terrifying because buying a home which you can't actually afford is the easiest way to go house poor. So today we're breaking down the rule most lenders use, why it's so dangerous, and the two-step process to helping you understand what you can actually afford. And so first page I want to show you here is these Canada's Housing and Mortgage Corporation here. It's literally, they determine the rules or the lending rules of how much you can actually lend based on your income. And so what I want to show you here is what the mortgage professionals have to use. And so write it down. Did you know mortgage professionals use two main ratios to decide if borrowers, that means you, can afford to buy a home? Gross debt service and total debt service. This calculator will give you both. And so first one, GDS, is a percentage of your monthly household income that covers your housing costs. And so this is all the things to do with homes, right? We have property taxes, we have heating, those types of things. It must not exceed, in the mortgage actually, and must not exceed 39%. Then we have TDS, a percentage of your monthly household income that covers your housing costs and any other debts. And so the other debts is like, the big one is car payments and credit card debt. Those are the biggest ones. So if you have one of those, it's gonna drastically affect your lending amount. Now there's a calculator here that you can go through. If you're working with a mortgage specialist or mortgage broker, which I highly recommend, they're gonna be doing this for you. So you can go check this out on your own if you want, but essentially it's going to be 39% and 44%. And so what I did here is I filled this out already because I had a conversation with my client yesterday about this. They went to a lender. They were told they can afford $650,000, and this was the mortgage amount that they were able to be approved to. And I said, that's great. Well, how did they figure out like your lifestyle costs? Because the last thing you want to do is purchase a home and become house poor, right? And so this calculator here, you obviously fill out all the stuff here. As you can see here, annual income, which my client here, this is what it was. Monthly mortgage payment is what they were approved for. With monthly heating costs, monthly property taxes, monthly condo fees, right? If you're buying a stratified property, that's what's going to be there. And then other rental fees. And so this is the gross debt service that they're worried about, right? They don't want this exceeding 39% of your income. Then you have the total, so this total debt service, which includes credit cards, vehicle loans, and other loans and lines of credit, right? And so right now they didn't have any, thankfully. I've actually just paid off their car. And so now here we are. The Bank of Canada is saying, well, hey, we'll lend you the money. And this is where it gets dangerous. What I alluded to earlier is because it doesn't factor in your total lifestyle cost, right? It's one thing if you understand that you're gonna have to change your lifestyle when you go buy a place. But if you don't understand it and then you buy a place and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, okay, we can't afford what we usually afford, well, that's the problem. And so this is the next two-step process that I want to show you here, right? So this is a calculator. It lives on my website. It serves multiple purposes, right? We have a sell tab, which if you wanted to know how much it would cost to sell your home, all the fees associated to and what you'd be left over with, that's what it's used for. The buy tab, which is for most of you watching, you're going to be buying a place. And these are all the costs associated to buying a home, right? We have the inspection, appraisal, lawyer, property taxes, all that fun stuff. And it basically tells you how much cash you get up front and the total acquisition cost, so including financing, right? And this is where I wanted to break this down because there's ownership and then there's affordability, right? So how much it costs to own a home. So right now I've actually put in a lot of this information already. And what I just did, because obviously they haven't bought a home yet. I just went on realtor.ca. I found a property local to my area. I live in the Fraser Valley, so we just found one. It was this townhome right here going for $625, right? So literally all we need to do is just put in the information, right? And a lot of the information is going to be on realtor.ca, right? They have annual property taxes, so I put that there. Annual home maintenance, stratified property, so it's most likely not going to need anything. But one could argue there's going to be maintenance required. You know, maybe you need a new stove, maybe you need a new hot water tank, depending on how it's heated. So for this sake, I just put it at 0. Annual home insurance, you're still going to need some sort of insurance. It's around the $800 to $1,000. So I went on the higher end, $1,000. Current monthly mortgage. So this is the number that the banks or the mortgage lender gave them. And so I'm just using this number here. Again, if you wanted to use the calculator and figure it all out yourself, you more or less can. And then in here, electricity, again, this is an average number here. It's going to be different for your situation. You can go look it up depending on where you live. Water, sewer, garbage recycling. This is a stratified property, so there's not going to be none of those. Stratified property, strata fee, so it's $425. Again, most times it's going to be listed on the report here. So 422, what did I say, 425? So it's 423. Let's just make it as accurate as possible, right? And so as you can see here, this property is costing them $3,000, almost $200 to own that property, right? And so now it comes to the affordability tab, which is really like the lifestyle cost, right? So right now, as you can see here, your monthly take-home income. So this is after tax income, right? So he makes $5,500 every single month, right? It's bringing over the monthly budget for the housing costs, and so we just work our way down because right now we're in good shape. We got $2,300 and $9 to essentially cover the rest of our expenses. And so right now we know they didn't have any car payments, but you know what? They did have insurance. And if I remember right, I think it was $170 every month. They paid annually, but again, you can figure that out for yourself. Literally just put the car payments. Life and disability insurance. They didn't have phones, right? I think both of them were $150. Subscriptions. Now I'm just guessing on a few of these ones. Obviously, you're gonna be able to put the subscriptions in there, but guaranteed, everybody has some sort of subscription. So we're gonna be looking at $100. Now, groceries. This is a younger family. Don't have any kids yet. I know for myself and my wife, we spend about $13.50 a month. So I imagine it's gonna be quite similar. Dining out. We don't dine out too much. Maybe it's, call it $100, right? Gas and transportation. Now they have one vehicle. And again, I'm just assuming here, again, I'm more or less going off my own numbers here. Clothing and personal care, right? What is that going to be a month? $50 a month. Entertainment and hobbies. You kind of get the gist of this, right? Like, we want to fill out all the things that you pay for every single month. And what I'm going to do here as well, I'm going to put a link in the description to my own personal budget calculator. I've been using it for years. It's nothing fancy. I'll put it in the description so that you can go use if you don't have one, but it's so important. What I told them, and I'm going to tell you as well, is look back over the last 3 months of what you've been spending, right? And figure out your monthly budget when it comes to, or monthly expenses when it comes to your food, when it comes to dining out, when it comes to all of these things on this list here, so that you have a really good average, right? Because some months you may be buying the toilet paper one month and all of a sudden the costs go up more, or maybe you're buying something in bulk. And then all I'm trying to say is you're gonna get a better average if you go over 3 months instead of just one. Entertainment and hobbies, I imagine you're gonna go do something. Maybe go to the movie theaters, maybe go do something. Kids, they didn't have any kids. And debts, they didn't have any debts, which is great. Savings and investments, we didn't get into that, but I'm assuming they didn't pay into anything. And so we want to go to the top here. And as you can see, excuse me, there are $61 a month short. And this is the dangerous part of using this other debt service calculator, right? You can afford this loan, right? The bank will give you the money to go and do this. But right here, your current lifestyle that you are living, depending if this is your example, you're not gonna be able to afford it, right? And so now, right here it says, you'll need to adjust your purchase price or reduce spending to make this work. And this is my biggest gripe, right? And nobody really teaches this. And so what I want you to do is obviously go talk to a mortgage lender, go see what the numbers are as far as what you can afford on a monthly mortgage amount. And they're obviously going to give you a top number of what you can afford as far as a purchase price, and literally work through this calculator, right? Work through the buy tab, figure out how much you got to, bring to the table, make sure you got the cash there, literally go to the own tab. Okay. They told me I can, buy a $625,000 home. Okay. Let's figure out the information here. You literally pull it from realtor.ca and you just work your way through this calculator. It has all the information you need here. And you can do this for a condo, a townhome, a detached, whatever you want. And then the most important one is, can you actually afford it? And so, like I said, go back 3 months of data, grab all your information as far as what you're spending every single month so that you have an idea, put in your income after tax, so take home money, put in all the things here that you spend money on, and actually see if you can afford it. Because I literally heard a story, and this is from my wife, that somebody moved into a home and now they realize they're significantly house poor because the bank said that they could go afford this. But now their current lifestyle, which they were hoping to maintain, they can't. And so now they have to drastically change things and they feel like they've been let down. And that's the whole point of this video, is just to educate you ahead of time so that you are fully well informed and that you can make an educated decision and kind of confident decision in that. Now, as I mentioned before, all the tools are in the description, so please use them. If you have any questions, reach out to me. But now if you are looking at homes, going to open houses, I want to encourage you to watch this video right here. It's how to spot a bad house in 60 seconds, where I literally go over everything that you need to know as a new buyer, in the real estate industry. Go check that one out. But as always, I appreciate you watching, sticking around with me, and I'll see you in the next one.